tuned in to your dose of positivity. I am Marlene Motivates, and as I always say, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Hey everyone, welcome. I am Marlene Motivates, your channel for all things positive, motivational, encouraging, life lessons, and mindset shifting. If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you over here as part of the Motivators family. So, welcome to everyone. I hope you all are doing well today. And I'm really excited to talk about this dose of positivity. So let's see who is here in the chats. Welcome in, Wanda. How are you doing? Good, so good to see you. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you. Hey, Puzzle Pieces. How are you doing? Got a member in the house. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Hey, Lisa. Thank you for the thumbs up. How are you doing? Realist one here. Mod on deck. Mod on deck. How you doing, Realist? Thank you all so much for being here. How is everyone doing? I hope all is well on in your world. So today I'm going to be talking to you on the topic of moving on, moving forward. So let's start off by just saying that moving on is something that is very difficult. But today, on this topic, we're going to be talking about moving forward without people who are relatives or your family members, because it's very important to know that just because we are related to people by blood, that does not make them good for us. Okay? The two don't automatically coincide. They don't automatically blend well together. Okay? So there may be people that you know right now, your own relatives, your own siblings, your own cousins, your own somebody. Maybe it's even a parent that could be a person who you need to move forward without them for various reasons. And we're going to talk about that today. Today is hashtag let go. We're going to let go and we're going to release back those who are causing our life to be stagnant, that is causing our life to be miserable, okay? And you know the reasons why we may choose to let go and move forward without certain family members. And today we're going to talk about it. And I think it's so important to talk about it and to not just allow certain things to happen to us in our life. I can say for myself, I really allowed for a long time certain family members, like, you give them a pass because we say they're your relative. So because they're your relative, you should always put up with their whatever it is that you're putting up with. And I'm here to tell you that the answer is no. We don't have to put up with it, and we are the ones that have to choose. Yeah, you motivators, each and every one of us has to make a choice on whether we want to keep people in our life or let them go. Okay, so we're going to get into this right after I check to see. Um, yes. All is good, realist. Thank you so much. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much, Wanda. Really appreciate it. Hey, Tamika Davis, how are you doing? We got a mod in the house. Right, relatives. Yes. So let's start with the first point, okay? So we have to eventually move on from those who are our relatives because of various reasons. So let's just start off by saying moving on is very tough, especially when the ones that we need to move on from is a relative. Yeah, that's hard. It's hard to process it in our mind and to say, you know, this is just not working. That's what we need to lock that into our mind. And I can say for a long time, you make the excuses, they make the excuses, we enable, and it continues on. So, how long are we going to allow ourselves to be miserable behind our relatives? See, the question is, complain about it your whole life, or are you going to release them out of your life and let them go? After we start processing that we need to move on from those relatives, we have to ask ourselves this very important question. But how do we move on from relatives? How? How is it even possible? We're going to get into that right now. So, moving on means letting go. And when somebody is a relative, it's not as easy as somebody that is a friend or somebody that's a colleague. It's they may not be somebody that you have to see. Sometimes we have relatives that you have to see on a regular basis. So how is it that it's possible to move on and to let go of these relatives? Okay, let's start with the first point. We have to admit that they are toxic. Admit that they are toxic because they are always involved in drama and they will not change. You've given them opportunity after opportunity, chance after chance, excuse after excuse, lie after lie, manipulation after manipulation, and they're still the same person. See, nobody can change unless they are willing to do so. It's something that they must be mature enough to say, I have to move. I have to move forward without this person because they are causing me to be miserable. They're keeping me stuck, and it's time to hashtag let go. And letting go is so important for some other things that we're going to talk about in just a little bit. Let's go to the chat. See if I missed anything. Yes, you guys are all talking to one another. Thank you all so much. And if you have not already, please hit the like. I'd really appreciate it. So let's go to point number two, everybody. We have to move forward from relatives because you're just not growing, you're miserable, you're very unhappy. And the second point to move on from them is we have to confront them, and in various ways. You can confront them face to face, through an email, through a text, but you have to let them know how you feel. And this is kind of a statement saying, like, this is the finale, I've done all that I can do for you. And you being in my life is causing me distress. It's causing me aggravation, pain, whatever it is that's happening to you. And even after I have asked you repeatedly to respect me, to respect my boundaries, you do not. So, to save myself, to make myself happy, to respect myself, to show how much I love myself, I'm going to have to let you go. And I want all the best for you, but I have to want the best for me first. See, self love is not always an easy decision. It's not an easy decision to say, even admit that we have relatives that are toxic. Admit that we have those that are doing wrong things to us. It's hard to actually say that to ourselves, but it's very important for our personal growth. It's very important to show how much we love ourselves and we know our worth. So it's important. This would be the second step to moving forward and letting go these relatives. It's a confrontation time. So however you choose, the face to face, the email, the text, whatever it is that you want to do, that's how you let them know so that they won't be wondering why you choose to not deal with them anymore. They will know by whatever source that you chose to say this, done, stamp it, we're done, okay? And it's something that we have to do. Thank you so much, realist one. But you have to tell others how you feel. I know that a lot of times we think when we're saying things to them, we're speaking it on deaf ears and they're not going to listen. But that's not for them. That's for you. That's a part of your healing process so that you can move forward and have other healthy relationships. Because the longer that you hold on to your relatives and their toxicity, you are stopping and blocking other things from happening to you in your life. So it's very important that you got to move forward and you have to move forward without them. Okay. So tell them how you feel and then let them go. Point number three, is so important that when you have done the confrontation and you've admitted it to yourself that you have to let them go, that you have to stop telling them your business. And it's a very difficult thing when it comes to families. Families can feel that they have the right to know all your private, personal information, and they don't. You don't have to tell anybody anything that you don't want to. It's your life. It's your business. It's whatever you want to say is what you want to say. But we have to learn to zip it. We have to learn to go silent, stop talking, stop telling them stuff, and then go silent. Just stop, 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 stop. We have to stop. And that's one of the reasons why the toxicity continues, because you tell them your personal business. They tell somebody else, they tell somebody else, they tell somebody else. And it's a cycle of mean, evilness, toxicity, manipulation, using. All of it continues to go on with our relatives because they know your personal business. So it's something wrong. Stop telling them your business. Go silent. Keep things to yourself. That's so important. And it's important for your own personal growth. And I will tell you why. We have to learn to go silent on certain individuals that are our relatives because they don't mean anything good for us. All they mean is harm, doom, evilness, backstabbing, whatever you want to call it. So by us stopping ourselves from telling them our personal business, then it cannot continue, because where there is no fuel, the fire will go out. They may ask other people, but they're not going to hear from you anymore. You have to learn this is a boundary that I'm going to do because I respect myself. And because I respect myself, I'm no longer going to continue to tell my personal business. Even if you ask me, you don't have the right to know. Very important for us to know that and understand that. Once upon, uh, I guess you're saying, once upon a time, it was hard for me to let go. But now, if I make the decision to let a family member go, I just bye bye. Very good. Puzzle pieces. Glad to hear it. Hi, Miss Tracy. How are you doing? Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And to everybody, if you have not hit the like, please do so. And those in the replay, if you could please hit the like as well. So let's get into point number 4. I believe I have 2 more points, and then I'm going to go into waiting for my co host. So this link is for my co-host. Okay, let me put it here in the chat. Hold on one second, everybody. All right. Okay, let's go to point number 4. To move forward, we have to withdraw support. And it's all support. We have to withdraw the financial support, the emotional support, the physical support. Also, it could be spiritual support. Any support that you are giving that person that is, helping that bad behavior to continue, we have to stop it because we enable our relatives by supporting them, and they don't deserve the support because of the way they treat you, the way they talk to you, how they talk about you behind your back to others, the drama that they bring, the toxicity, the energy that they bring, the negativity, their attitude. So, because we love our self motivators, we have to withdraw our support from them. And it's very difficult to withdraw the support from your relatives, but we have to understand when they're toxic, they will not change. Take it from somebody who knows, I've tried it. I've tried it. I've tested it for years. Oh, if I keep doing some nice things to them, if I show them friendship, if I show them more love, if I do X, Y, and Z, then they'll change. Mm-mm. It doesn't work that way. Actually, the more we do kind deeds, is the more that they are going to want, the more that they are going to expect, the more they feel that they deserve. So we can't enable our relatives in their poor behavior just behind the relative, just because we are blood. That doesn't make an excuse for wrong behavior, for disrespect, for the way they treat you, for the manipulation, for the lies, for all of it. We have to let other people own their own mess, and they can't do that. We stop others. We stop our own relatives from progressing in their life, from learning about accountability and maturity, and doing the right thing. And they will not do that as long as you are supporting them, as long as you allow it, as long as if you continue to stick around them and talk to them, they will think everything is okay. And they can continue to do what they want because you have not ended it. And we have to be very firm. We have to be very aggressive. We can't relinquish. We can't go back. There's no going in reverse. All we're doing is moving forward, and we're serious about it. This is how it is. I have informed you. Do not contact me. Do not ask me for anything. I don't want to hear from you. Just leave me alone and move along with your life, because it does something to us. It does something to our spirit. It does something to our mindset. We start to become negative just like them because of the way that they are treating us. So we definitely have to withdraw the support. It's so important for us to do, and it shows how much we respect ourselves. Hey, James Wilson, how are you doing? Welcome in, member in the house. He just been eating. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. So I'm at the last point, everybody. Point number 5. To move forward from letting go of relatives, we have to get our life back. And a lot of times we get off track with our life because our relative gets our mind all messed up. Our relatives really can stop us from our goals, our objective, our focus, because we're so busy following behind them and listening to them and cleaning up their mess and whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. It's always something with them. So when you close the door to their toxicity, now you get to open the door to your own life. Welcome to your life, motivators. Once you start clearing out the negative people, the toxic people, especially our relative, now we can get busy into our life. Because once you get let go of the toxic ones, your peace your mental strength and your finances will definitely improve. And also your physical health will improve sometimes. Sometimes we start getting ailments, we start feeling sick, you get the headaches, you're just disturbed behind your relatives. They can be a very big source of aggravation in our life. So once we realize that, we've had conversations with them, they're not willing to change, they're not going to do anything. Actually, they want more, they get nastier to you. They're asking for more and more and more. They're very disrespectful. They do whatever they want to. They don't care about your feelings. All of this, red flags, everybody. Red flags are going off. They will not change. And just because they try to draw you back in by saying, I love you and I'm going to make changes, they won't. Because if they wanted to make changes, they would have done it a long time ago. They're only saying that to keep you in their life or to get something. They want another handout. They want another this. They want that. They want these services. On and on it goes. The list is never ending. But because we love our self motivators, we have to make some hard decisions. And it's very tough to cut off relatives, but it's very necessary. The ones that are toxic, the ones that won't change, the ones that always are doing something, and it's always something. We all know them. Every time you pick up the phone, you're around them, everything is always down. There's never a good day. There's never anything positive. They never say anything encouraging. Mm-mm. All they do is gossip about others, and they're not doing anything with their own life. Always on the low, always on the low. Always need your help. Just this one more time, just one more time. And one more time turns into another time. So, because of that, and because we have awareness and we know our worth, we know that we deserve more. I say to each and every one of you motivators, you deserve more. You deserve better. Okay? You deserve to have your peace of mind. You deserve to have your happy life. You deserve to get focused back on whatever your goal is, whatever you want to do with your life, and get into living and start smiling and stop feeling aggravated behind these certain relatives. They really do aggravate you, really, really aggravate, and they don't care how you feel. And in fact, when you get aggravated, they may laugh at you. They think it's funny. You know why? Because you've said over and over again, I've had enough, but you haven't done anything about it. See, once somebody finds out you're serious, you block them, you stop talking to them, they don't have any more of the benefits of a relationship with you. Now they're going to be thrown into the reality. You have to give people a dose of reality, a dose of realness, of truth. Tell people you need to grow up. It's not my responsibility to care for you and do things for you. You are a grown adult and you need to do what you're supposed to do. Not my job. Not my job. Come on, motivators. I want you to say it with me. Not my job. It's not my job to grow you up. It's not my job to bail you out. It's not my job to hear your foolishness. No, I don't want to be a part of your negativity. No, we are done with that because we're getting into living. We're getting into peace. We're getting into using our talents. We're looking for our blessings. We're using our energy for the things that we want to do with our life. Yeah, let's get back on track, motivators, and our relatives can get us off track, give us headaches, health problems, deplete our finances, mess up our credit, all behind we're supposedly helping them. When we say we're helping them, we actually are hurting ourselves. It's very interesting how that happens. So that's why we have to pay attention to all of them. Okay, and this link in the chat is for my co-host Nexi. So let's see what we got here. Let's see what I missed. Um, hey, Miss Gwen, how are you doing? Welcome. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you being here. Happy Tuesday to you. Let's welcome in Gwen. Really do appreciate everybody who is here. Thank you all so much. Member for 3 months. Lies, lies, I say. Whenever they say I'll change. Real talk, puzzle pieces, real talk. And we got a super sticker time. Thank you so much, puzzle pieces. And you know what we got to do when the super chat hits. Pause, please. Thank you so much, puzzle pieces. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for being a member for 4 months, Miss Tracy. Appreciate y'all. Realist, you really don't like the panda, do you? Okay, let's add my wonderful co-host, Miss Nexie. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Marlene. How are you? Hi,
Hi.
chat.
Thank you so much.
Realist,
Oh,
excuse
go
me,
ahead.
Marlene. Give me a minute. Realist, take that back. Leave my panda alone. I had to say that, Marlene. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Welcome to the show. Miss Nexie, your thoughts on moving forward and letting go of toxic relatives?
Uh, you know, a lot of times people feel that when you say, and I was listening to the live earlier, people feel that when you say toxic relatives, it's only like, your sisters, your brothers, your cousins, things like that. But toxic relatives can also be your kids. And I mean that, like I said, with much love in my heart for my children. But sometimes we have kids that um, are just toxic. And I don't mean that as a mother, I mean it in a loving way, in a way that no matter what you do, no matter how many times you say something, no matter how many times you ask them to change, they just won't. And I feel that is because they feel entitled. They feel like you're never gonna say anything, you're never gonna cut him off, you're never gonna confront them. And I always tell people that, and sometimes I forget myself, which I said this to you yesterday, is that we're dealing with grown-ups, with adults. Even though there are children, they still adults. They're grown-ups. They're not that little kid we raised anymore, you know. So they become like that, and we have to think of them that way. So we have to bring up their toxicity. We need to sometimes throw it on their faces and say, hey, what's up? And for me, um, decide whether you want to have that person in your life at this moment, right? Or not. Maybe you can revisit this subject later on, but for my mental health, my emotional balance and everything, sometimes you have to do this, and you have to make the decision of saying, you know what, I love you, but I need a break. Um, and let's talk about it whenever I feel better about this. It's not when you're ready. It's not. It's when I'm ready.
Yeah, I think that I'm so glad that you brought up your children, because a lot of times we will think about, when we think about relatives being toxic, we will always bring up, parents, cousins, uncles, maybe grandparents, but we kind of glide over the children because it's one of those things that you're like, that's my child, and that's what I have to put up with because I'm their parent. But when somebody is grown, we one thing that is important to say, that a lot of times we forget because they're our child, that they're an adult. So you coddle them for too long, and that you think, oh, they can't do it without me because I'm their mom or I'm their dad.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
they'll never grow up that way if you enable them.
Yeah, and again, they're like you said right now, Marlene, we're dealing with adults, right? We're not dealing with that, 5-year-old, 3-year-old, 1-year-old, 12-year-old, whatever. We're dealing with another adult. And they can't do this without me. It turns into, yes, they can, and they will. You know what I mean? They will focus on friends and everybody else before they do it on you. And it's because you have enabled this. You're always there for them no matter what. And at one point, you have to remind them, you know what? Yeah, this is your friend. You love them, whatever. But guess who's always there for you? And reminding them by removing yourself from the equation, allowing them to face their friends and ask for all the help that you have given them, and see how many of them volunteer to do what you have been doing for years, which is what I'm doing right now. I have removed myself, and I'm just going to let life take over. And they have to, at one point, you have to do that. For me, like I said before, my mental health, my emotional health is important because I have another person, my beautiful son, who depends on me and needs me to be mentally balanced and emotionally balanced, because I need to deal with him. I need to love him unconditionally. He's the one that needs me, not the ones that are already grown up.
Right. And I'm so glad you said that, because uh there are so many times that we think that, they can't do it without me. They can't. It's impossible. But if you weren't around, or, heaven forbid, they, you're no longer here anymore, they would have to. So we have to stop saying that they can't make it without us, because you're stopping their personal growth, and you're stopping them from being accountable and looking at what they're doing wrong. Because if you constantly allow for children, your siblings, uncle, mom, dad, whoever it is that is the offender or offenders, if you never withdraw yourself from them, they'll never be able to make any changes.
Yeah, and again, I have to say something on that. You say that, you know they have shown us, time and time again, that they can do whatever they want and be productive and be, self-sufficient without us. I feel sometimes that when we overprotect them, or are overindulging them, that we're the ones who are attached. I feel that we, the parents, are the ones that are a little too attached to them, and we have to. And I had to learn this, like I said, this lesson the hard way. We always want to be that protector. We always going to be the one that is there for them, no matter what. We want to be that blanket, in times of coldness, or the mattress when they fall, so that they don't get hurt. So we sometimes are the ones that make or create this little ungrateful monsters. I had to say it. I'm sorry. I was watching Monsters Inc. earlier. But anyway, so we have to, it's the same way that we have enabled and allowed this to progress. We have to remove that so that they can understand that love, the unconditional love, attention, and everything else is not something that you got to take for granted. I've noticed that, um, some kids go on for years and years and years without even a thank you to all the hard work that our parents have done. And it's more like, oh, I'm here, I'm visiting, with my kids, so I'll be back, I'm gonna go visit all of my friends, and here are the kids. And you're like, what? Why is he leaving the kids here? And didn't he come or she come to spend time with you? Yeah, but they gotta visit friends first. And I'm like, what? So we are sometimes the ones that, without wanting to speak up, touch those touchy feeling subjects. We're the ones who enable this behavior. And I'm sometimes guilty of it, Marlene. I'm not going to take
Yeah,
anything from it. I'm guilty.
yeah. See, but the whole thing is that I feel like it's kind of a new statement to learn about setting boundaries and what is a healthy relationship. And there are a lot of relationships that you can have in your life that aren't healthy. They're very toxic. They're very hazardous to our health, in all aspects, emotional, mental, spiritual. Yeah, it affects all of it. So we definitely have to pay attention to all of that. And when we see that where our cup is becoming depleted, and I just talked about that wonderful live stream, if they don't refill your cup, what we need to do about it. And it's important that we respect ourselves enough, because for so long, when you constantly keep doing something and then you get to zero, the next thing you get sick. Most of the time, that even when you get to that sick point, they don't even care. They still want more from you in that state. So you do have to set some boundaries, or you may no longer be around. It's that real.
Yeah, and you and I, Marlene, have worked in the industry where we see this firsthand, right? That parents are already in a home or bedridden, and the kids are the last ones to show, and sometimes for months at a time. So we because we see reality, and it hits us on the face every day. I feel that through therapy and me having worked on that particular field, I think I started getting the sense of, what, yes, we are dealing, not just with our children, but with actually adults, grown adults, that, yeah, we brought into this world, but that's all we did. Their mind, their feelings, whatever is theirs. um and I always felt like maybe I'm asking all this because I feel like I'm entitled to it, or maybe I feel like they owe me something, and maybe that's why I'm getting this particular way when it comes to them not visiting or calling sometimes. But at the same time, it's like, what, aside from me being your mom, have brought you into this world, I've raised you, right? We've been family we were family for 18 years, let's say, straight out, and then you went out into the world, but we were family for that whole time. So that's why you don't understand this particular treatment. And then you see them maybe with somebody else's mom, and they're all nice and welcoming or whatever, and with their friends, and you're like, okay, wait a minute. So that's where I'm at right now, Marlene. It's like, I have to put a stop. I had to, like, take a break, and I'm going to, I already decided it. I'm taking a break and just focusing on me, on getting myself back in track, and getting rid of, I've done already with extended family and in our immediate family as well. Some of my immediate family I have had to let go because sometimes that's too much for you, you
Yeah,
know.
and I'm so sorry. I have to say that I'm so sorry to you and to anybody who has to deal with some toxicity within their family, and you do have to let them go because it hurts and you feel some type of way. But holding on to them is only going to hurt you even more, and it's going to make you aggravated and stressed out. And why? And the whole thing is that you're aggravated and they could care less. They don't care about you. That's the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing, that was so hard for me to accept, that they actually didn't care. I said, well, maybe it's just me who's feeling that way, and it's not. They don't care, and they've shown it by their actions that they don't. So just like they don't care about you, now you have to make a choice to care about yourself by doing something drastic and cutting them off and blocking them.
Mm-hmm. And for for your sanity, for your mental health, and sometimes it's also to help them, Marlene, because I feel that they take for granted that you've always been there because of that, right? They've had you all of their life. You've always been there for them, no matter what. So I feel that they don't understand how precious that is, having that person that you can always come to, you can always count on, you can always fall back to. So because sometimes they get lost, I guess our feelings, our emotions get lost in translation, as the saying goes. Sometimes I feel that we overindulge them, we overdo it, so they cannot appreciate it until we step back, and we allow them to see that. And that's what I'm saying, is like, it's very hard as a parent. It has taken me many, many years to get to this point, but because, like I said, I value my mental health and my emotional health, and everything else about me, I have to do this for myself, you know first and foremost is for myself. You're muted.
Yeah, I was muted. I'm so glad to hear that, Nexi, because you saying that you are empowering another person who's kind of dragging their feet, like they're there, they know they're ready to move forward, but when we hear from another person that they're in the same space where they were struggling and they're going through something very similar and they're going to do it, you can encourage another person. So I hope this conversation that me and Nexi and everybody who is here in the chat and those who are listening in the replay, we are all motivators. We are motivated for our life to live a fabulous life. And we can't do that with relatives that don't care about us. And I just want to highlight this comment from Realist One. He said, I don't think I've ever met a man or a woman who didn't admit there was toxicity in their family. Yeah,
That's
I
true.
I think everybody has some toxic individuals in their family, but it's up to us to not allow ourselves to be around them and to continue enabling them.
Exactly, Marlene. And the point here is not that I don't, like I said, Marlene, I don't want to, these are my thoughts, right? They're not yours or anybody else's, and I don't want anybody to take it as I'm a bad parent or I don't love my kids, right? I'm doing it because I love them. I'm doing it because I feel that, as Realist says, if, there's toxicity in everybody's family, but if we don't clean it up, it gets bigger and bigger. So sometimes you have to take a step back, remove yourself from the equation so that you, if nobody else is doing it, you can clean it up and bring about a better family, a more united family, or more, bonded family. And as for my extended, I felt that no matter, even when I removed a lot of them, and let's say I will allow them little by little back, they will still go back to the same thing. They, little by little, that toxicity will creep in, and I'll be like, nope, that's it. So the second, like I said, I give them one chance, right, to my family members, one chance. But if I see that that's not stopping, or it's just dormant, but the minute they come back in, somebody else triggers it, and then they begin with toxicity, I remove them completely, because that's not someone you want to have in your life. Life itself is hard already. And having people like that around, it makes it even more complicated.
Yeah, it really does. And it's like we complicate our own life when we don't have to. We really do.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because I had to learn to say, okay, wait, why am I dealing with this again? Whose child is this? This is not my child. This is her kid. Why am I in the middle of this toxic duo? Because a lot of times you get put in the middle without even realizing that that's where where you're at. So you have to make sure that whatever you do, it's you're doing it for you first and foremost, right? You're doing it for yourself. And because you know that that is gonna help everybody else around you. So for your mental health, and your health overall, you have to sometimes to do these things.
Right. You have to do it for your overall wellness, because we were just talking about how important self care is, and because you care about yourself, because you know your worth, because we're constantly always working on ourselves and evolving into a better human being. To do that, when we see some toxicity, we have to say, oh, here's a problem, and I need to root this out, because there's no way that when somebody is toxic in our life, keeping them in is going to help us. If anybody, we are the ones that are going to be harmed, and they will keep, blossoming and growing, because they really are. They can do whatever they want to, and we are their doormat to do as they choose, and we have to say, no, I deserve better than that.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking, sometimes they don't even know that they're doing it or what they're doing. And I was just thinking that right now when you were saying that. And they don't even know. They look at you like, what did I do? And you're like, really?
Yeah.
You don't know what you just did? No, I really don't. And I'm like, oh my God. So sometimes you have to bring it up to their attention. Actually, not sometimes. When something bothers you, you have to tell them exactly what it is that they're doing that bothers you, or that behavior will not stop, or
Yeah.
that will not change. And but another thing you said earlier was when you I'm going to get to that point, but you said something earlier that I liked, and it's that once you remove those toxic people and those leeches, your bank account grows.
Yes.
I think like you're like, now I'm ready to call Lisa and see how we can work this
Yeah.
out.
Mhm.
Because your bank account grows and you don't understand why that happens at the beginning, right? But then you start realizing, oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Now
Hmm.
I know why so and so used to call me. Or now I know why they would always come up to me with a sad song of, oh man, I wish I had this. I wish I had that. Oh, so and so doesn't have this. And oh man, I wish maybe next time, right? So
Hmm.
you have to make sure, oh, just look around you and first check your bank account before you cut everybody off, and you will see what we're talking about with
You'll
my.
see the issues. Yeah, and I will say that, it's small, and it's not always big things, but it's those that they show up to a restaurant, and if you're there, they just get up and leave. They never pay for their own food, or they expect for you to buy them groceries or give them a ride somewhere. They'll never give gas. Or if you're on trips, they never will pay. They come along on trips, and they get all the benefits, and they never pay any money. Or it's just so many things to even name them all. Or you've loaned them money and they never repay it back. Actually, they'll say it's a gift. It's just so much that after it all starts adding up, it's just like now you're in the negative because of them.
Exactly. And you see, even let's, I've had the opportunity, to have my kids at home, as adults. And so before they fly the nest, you see that, your grocery bill is so high, your electricity, your gas bill, everything else is so high. And the minute they move out, you know those bills get cut off by, like, my God, 75%. You start seeing that, oh, it's just me and my little guy. So now it's like, wait a minute, why did I used to pay $500 of electricity during the summer every month, and now it's only 100?
Right.
You start seeing those changes. Or why
Yeah.
was it that I spent $1,500 on groceries every month and now it's only 500? Or you know what I mean? Like, you start
Yeah.
realizing how, because the money that they extract sometimes is not necessarily, tangible. Like, it's not right. Give me this, give me that. But by being around you, they consume a lot. So you don't
Yeah.
realize those things until they're out of the house, and you start seeing like, oh wow, so it was that.
Yeah.
And that's when your bank account grows.
Yeah. Yep. Or you just, just not being around them. It just, even if it's not a financial thing that they're doing, but just being around certain individuals, they may not ask you for money, but being around them is like toxic to your mental health. Like
It's draining.
always, oh, it's draining. Like it's always, this is happening to me, this is happening to me. And you only hear from them in negative. You never hear about anything good in their life. They're never saying, this is good is happening to me. I had this blessing happen to me, or, this,
Uh-uh.
I got a new job, or whatever it is. Anything positive is never positive.
Or when you're around them, and I'm talking, like I said, about kids and extended family or members that you have removed or haven't removed yet. When you're something about you that is bothering you, and you're telling them, they're on their phone, they're watching TV, you're pouring your heart out, they're not even paying attention to you. They don't even care. And sometimes you have to see these things. I know it's painful. It's very painful when you see that the person that you have always been there for literally doesn't care. But once you see and you accept and you know go forward, that's it. You already done your best, and they don't even care. That's exactly how you feel. They don't even care. So why am I trying? Right? Why am I here? Or they make it about them, Marlene. Oh my God, same thing happened to me. Oh my God, let me tell you what happened to me that day. And you're like, wait, I thought we were talking about me.
Yeah. They turn everything around. So you start to talk about something you're doing, and they always, it almost turns into something narcissistic. They're mirroring, right? They start
Uh-huh.
mirroring. Oh, this. If you start saying, "Oh, you know what happened to me the other," oh, something like that happened to me, and this, and so you don't even get a chance to finish what you
No, you
had to
don't.
say.
No, you don't. You're in mid sentence and you're like, oh, it's all about you now again. Okay, let's
Uh-huh.
talk about you then. And then they say, so what were you saying? Oh, it's okay. By the time they ask you that, you're like, it's okay. Next time.
And you know what? You don't even remember because
Yeah.
you have your mind so swirled up. You're
So
like, huh? What
scramble.
were we even what were we even talking about? I have no
Yeah.
idea.
I forgot my problem because I have all of yours now in my mind.
Yeah. They come and they dump all that monkey on their back and
Mm.
load it onto you.
Yep. And there's people like that. Like there's family like that. That when you see them coming towards you, you're like, oh my God.
And you're like, what now?
No, I was having so much fun at this party. Now
I,
I.
and, and and I hate to say this, but there are some that when they come around for my own benefit, every time they come around, I have to leave. It's for my own peace. And then
Yes.
and people will say that that's petty, but it's not. It means because I love myself, because I know you're about to do something to aggravate me. And before you can do something, bye bye, have a
I
great day.
I have
I'm
an
out of here.
excuse, Marlene. I have a great excuse for that. I'm sorry. The little guy wants to go. I wish I could stay here and listen to whatever it is that I don't care about you that you're about to say. But I have to go. He wants to go. Okay, let's go. Let's go. He's like, I
Yeah.
don't even want to go. What are you talking about? Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, you want to go? And they'll be looking like, no. I'll be like, yeah, okay, let's go.
You've been in my in my parties, huh? Okay, okay, yeah. So I have a great excuse, and so I thank God for this because I don't know. Sometimes I think I, they play on me, like they play me, but I have that excuse now. So whenever they're about to, oh yeah, we're falling on hard times. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I gotta go. You want to go? Okay, let's go, babe. Okay, let's go. You see, I go. I'm sorry, I have to go.
Oh, but I learned something a long time ago from my dad. When people start telling you about your problem, their financial problems, start telling them about yours. Oh, you know what? And go and bring them the bill. I have a $300 light bill, and I got this water bill, and I got this. They'll stop.
I'm gonna start doing that.
No, my dad says that's why my dad always would keep all his bills together in a stack. So anytime somebody would start something, you say, "Oh, you have bill. Oh, let me show you some. Let me show you some bills."
Oh, Dad, I'm gonna learn from Dad now. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
Hey, here, you see this stack? This is this month only. Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing that, Marlene. I
Yeah.
promise. I'm gonna start doing that from
Mhm.
now on. Or like,
And,
you need how
and for
much? Oh
some
yeah. I'm sorry.
and
Look,
and for some reason, Nexie, they never come back to me again. It's very surprising.
they're afraid you're gonna ask them for the.
Yeah, guys. I said, you know what? Look at this bill. I said, I'm gonna need some help. Next thing they're out, they'll run out the door.
I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say, but if
I don't
people
know
can
how
help
I'm gonna
me.
make it, and then start looking at them all glassy eyed. Hey.
I'm gonna do that from now on. Oh my God, I'm gonna have my little stash ready. So you're here.
Yeah.
How you doing? I'm doing. What were you doing? Oh, I'm just going over the bills.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it before they can say it.
And keep a calculator nearby and start. Yeah, I have this.
So you were
Yeah.
saying?
What were you saying?
Oh my God, that's funny.
That's what it is. So, this has been a wonderful discussion. I thank you so much, Nexie, and we're going to go over to members only. Any final words?
Just take care of your mental health, your emotional health, and your overall, like you said, wellness. Because first and foremost, you have to be okay and in perfect, um, you know, um, balance for everybody else around you to be able to rely on you and see you in perfect harmony. You have to be an example. So make sure that whatever is not good for you, get rid of it,
Yes.
regardless of who it is.
Yes, and thank you so much, Nexie. I really appreciate you always coming up here and adding to this discussion. So, to everybody who is, struggling, and you have a family member that's toxic, and they just are doing the most, and you're stressed out behind them, you have a choice. Let them go. Stop telling them your business and move forward with your life because you deserve better. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. And my members, I'll see you over at members only. Bye, guys.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? I forgive me. I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? Ooh, ooh.